A Japanese urban legend is a story in Japanese folklore which is circulated as true. These urban legends are characterized by originating in or being popularized throughout the country of Japan. These urban legends commonly involve paranormal entities or creatures who encounter and attack humans. But the term can also encompass widespread non-supernatural rumors in popular culture. Modern Japanese urban legends tend to occur in schools or urban settings, and some can be considered cautionary tales. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Hachishaku-sama, the 8-foot-tall woman. Hachishaku-sama is a malefic entity that kidnaps children in Japan. She is recognizable by her giant size, 8 feet tall, and her long black hair. This yurei, Japanese ghost, announces its arrival by making a strange noise that sounds like po po po. A young girl heard a mysterious sound in the distance and noticed the gigantic figure of Hachishaku-sama. Rokurokubi, the long-necked creature. Be cautious of outward appearances, for this creature, alluring and captivating by day, transforms into a terrifying monster as night falls. Her neck elongates grotesquely, and she becomes merciless in her actions. The legends of the Rokurokubi are deeply rooted in Japanese folklore. Some of these beings only seek to frighten humans, while others go as far as to devour them. The curse of the Colonel. According to the legend, a sports curse was placed on the Japanese Hanshin Tigers baseball team by the ghost of the KFC founder and mascot Colonel Sanders. The curse was said to be placed on the team because of the Colonel's anger over treatment of one of his storefront statues, which was thrown into the Dotonbori River by Hanshin fans before their team's 1985 Central League pennant. However, fans later leapt into the river as the curse of the Colonel was later lifted. Thank goodness. Jinmenken, or human-faced dog. Jinmenken are dogs with human faces that are said to appear at night in Japanese urban areas. They are rumored to be able to run along highways at extremely high speeds, which allows them to overtake cars and then look back at drivers with their human faces. Jinmenken can talk, but they prefer to be left alone. In some stories, which are often presented as comedic, individuals may encounter a dog rummaging through garbage, only for the dog to look up, revealing itself as a Jinmenken with its human face and say something like, "Leave me alone." Kuchisake Onna. Kuchisake Onna, or slit-mouthed woman, is an urban legend about the malevolent spirit, or onryo, of a woman with a mutilated mouth. She is said to partially cover her face with a mask or object, and reportedly carries a sharp tool of some kind, such as a knife or a large pair of scissors. According to popular legend, she will ask potential victims if they think she is attractive. If an individual responds with no, she will kill them with her weapon. If they say yes, she will then reveal that the corners of her mouth have been slit from ear to ear. Inunaki Village, a cursed place without faith or law. Have you heard the legend of the ghost village in Fukuoka Prefecture, completely cut off from the outside world? In Inunaki, no laws apply, as a sign at the entrance ominously warns. Within its borders, chaos reigns, with stories of murders and unspeakable brutality. It's even said that electrical devices mysteriously stop working in this eerie place. The urban legend of Inunaki Village remains unproven, as no one who enters ever returns from this cursed location. One contemporary legend in Japan is that of living dolls, described by American folklorist John Harold Brunvand as dolls that acquire independent spirits as children play with them and talk to them. If a so-called living doll is mistreated or discarded by its owner, it is said that it may seek revenge against them. An example of this legend tells of a 3-legged Licca-chan doll left deformed and discarded in a public toilet. After being discovered by a woman who threw it aside in disgust, the doll cursed her, causing her to lose her sanity and eventually die in a mental hospital. In Inokashira Park, Tokyo, there is a shrine to the goddess Benzaiten, as well as Inokashira Pond, a lake where visitors can rent rowing boats. There is an urban legend which states that if a couple rides on a boat together, their relationship will end prematurely. In some versions of the legend, happy couples who visit the park will be cursed by the jealous Ben-Zeiten, which will cause them to break up. Tamino's Hell, the poem that kills. For all fans of Japanese poetry, beware of an eerie urban legend surrounding a poem said to bring death to anyone who reads it aloud. The poem, titled Tamino's Hell by Yomota Inuhiko, tells the story of what's thought to be a young boy, condemned for committing unspeakable acts. It's chilling to say the least. In short, this deadly poem is one best left unspoken. Gozu, known as Cowhead, also known as Oxhead, is a Japanese urban legend about a fictional story called Cowhead. Supposedly, the Cowhead story is so horrifying that people who read or hear it are overcome with fear so great that they tremble violently for days on end until they die. Teketek is the ghost of a young woman or schoolgirl who fell on a railway line, which resulted in her body being cut in half by a train. She is an onryo, or a vengeful spirit, who lurks around urban areas and train stations at night. Since she no longer has her legs, she travels on either her hands or elbows, dragging her upper torso along the ground and making a scratching or tek-tek-like sound. If she encounters a potential victim, she will chase them and slice them in half at the torso with a scythe or another bladed weapon. Kiyotaki, the legend of the cursed tunnel. The underground passage connecting Arashiyama to Sagakiotaki was built in the early 19th century under horrific conditions. Many workers reportedly died from accidents or sheer exhaustion during its construction. Given its tragic history, it's no wonder that restless spirits are said to haunt the site. Some claim to have encountered a ghostly white lady or other apparitions in the tunnel, often blamed for causing traffic accidents. The Red Room Curse is an early Japanese internet urban legend about a red pop-up ad which announces a forthcoming death of the person seeing it on their computer. A common version of the story says that while browsing the internet, the victim will be presented with a pop-up of black text on a red background asking a random question. After trying to close it, the pop-up will reappear, this time the text saying, "Do you like the Red Room?" Then the screen will turn red, displaying a list of names of the Red Room's victims. The target will sense a mysterious presence behind them, after which they will lose consciousness. They will later be found dead in their home, with the walls of the room in which they are discovered painted red with blood. Hanako-san, or Tware no Hanako-san, is a legend about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako who haunts school bathrooms. Several variations of the legend exist. In one, Hanako-san is the ghost of a girl who committed suicide during an air raid in World War II. In another, she committed suicide after being bullied by other students. Rumors and legends about Hanako-san have achieved notable popularity in Japanese primary schools, where children may challenge classmates to try and summon Hanako-san. Hitobashira, the human sacrifice of Maruoka Castle. Did you know that in Japan, human sacrifice was practiced until the 17th century to protect buildings from natural disasters? People were buried alive or entombed within structures like bridges, temples, or castles as offerings to the kami. This ritual, known as Hitobashira, human pillar, was tragically carried out. One such victim was Oshizu. During the Sengoku period, Maruoka Castle, an important monument, faced repeated collapses. To stabilize its foundations, the idea of a human pillar arose. Oshizu agreed to be walled up alive in exchange for the promise of her son becoming a samurai. However, that promise was broken. Since then, her tears are said to flood the castle moat every year. Kokuri, or Kokuri-san, is a Japanese game that became popular during the Meiji era. The game is similar to the use of a Ouija board. However, rather than using a store-bought board with letters and a planchette, players write down hiragana characters and place their fingers on a coin. Then they ask Kokuri-san a question and wait to see what happens. No thanks. The Kisaragi station is a Japanese urban legend that originated on the two-channel message boards in 2004. It revolves around a mysterious railway station somewhere in Shizuoka Prefecture. The tale recounted how the anonymous user, who was later identified as Hasumi, awoke on a train with all other passengers asleep. As Hasumi tried to figure out what had happened, she posted about the strange occurrence on 2channel, receiving advice from other users on the thread. The trip was meant to be her typical commute to work on the Enshu railway line, but the train was traveling in an unknown direction. Its driver and conductor were completely unreachable, making it impossible for Hasumi to figure out where she was headed. On the 16th of December 1932, the Shirokiya department store fire in Tokyo resulted in 14 deaths. During the fire, many saleswomen in kimono were forced onto the roof of the 8-story building. Rumors later spread that some of these women refused to jump into the safety nets held by firefighters on the ground. Traditionally, women did not wear undergarments with kimono, and they were afraid they would be exposed and ashamed if they jumped. As a result, they died. This news attracted attention from as far away as Europe. It has been alleged that in the aftermath of the fire, department store management ordered saleswomen to wear panties or other underwear with their kimono, and the trend spread. A Japanese urban legend dating back to the Taisho period that saw a significant resurgence after the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami is a trend of taxi drivers who say that they picked up a passenger, often drenched or cold, who then disappears before reaching their destination, often leaving behind evidence of their presence such as a puddle, a glove, or occasionally a fare. Because the passenger typically disappears before reaching the destination, the taxi driver is left to pay the fare themselves. However, those with a strong respect for the dead do not mind paying the fare. Ghost passengers are said to often visit homes of loved ones, and many are young people who feel they died too young. Sometimes the passengers seem unaware that they are dead. In the 1980s, Kleenex released 3 Japanese commercials for their tissues, featuring a woman played by actress Keiko Matsuzaka, dressed in a white dress, and a child dressed as a Japanese ogre sitting on straw. Each advertisement had the song "It's a Fine Day" by Edward Barton and Jane playing in the background. Allegedly, viewers began to file complaints with television stations and with Kleenex's corporate headquarters because they found the commercial unnerving, and some supposedly claimed that the song sounded like a German curse, despite the lyrics being in English. Rumors about the cast and crew were reported and circulated, including that all those involved in filming the commercial met untimely deaths in accidents, that Matsuzaka was institutionalized after a mental breakdown, or that Matsuzaka became pregnant with a demon child. The demon child is actually a depiction of the character Ten from the anime Urusei Yatsura. Aokigahara, the suicide forest. Aokigahara, likely the most haunted place in Japan, is a sprawling forest at the base of the iconic Mount Fuji. It rests on a lava flow from the 9th century and is densely packed with conifer trees. Known as the Sea of Trees, or Jukai in Japanese, its thick, dark expanse has given rise to chilling legends. Many believe that those who enter this tangled wilderness never find their way out, as it's frighteningly easy to become lost. Sadly, the forest is also infamous for the high number of suicides that have occurred there. It was rumored that the Sony Corporation installed a device in all of its electronic products that caused them to fail soon after their warranties expired, an illegal form of planned obsolescence. This has never been substantiated, and while it is possible that Sony would explicitly add expiration devices to their hardware, the Sony timer has also been taken to mean that Sony manufactures devices to withstand just enough use to necessitate a new line. Seems Apple was accused of something similar. What do you think about these Japanese urban legends? Did any stand out to you as unusually weird or strange? Let us know in the comments.